Hello, hello. I just got, I have to go premium on Twitter now to go live. Before I did not. It was working just fine the other day. That's weird. So, dang it. Let me see if I can fix it really quick. Bear with me. Say hello if you're joining. What's up? Free Bannett. How's it going? I'm going to see if I can get Twitter fixed really quick. Apparently, I have to pay for a subscription on Twitter to go live. Was not expecting that. Just bear with me really quick while I do this, and then we'll get going. How's everyone doing today? Happy Monday. We have lots to do as far as work, but you know, I got to jump on here really quick and do some Houdini stuff and show you guys some cool things. Say hello if you're joining. Let's see if we can get Twitter fixed. Oh boy, kids. Okay. Oh gosh, this is doing some. Hold on. Running into some issues. Gosh. What is going on? Why is it doing this? I don't know what I did. Okay. Skip this for now. Okay, good. Let's go. Okay, let's see if I can fix Twitter. Let me go to my profile, see if it's live. Sorry, guys. It's been letting me go live, no problem until now, which is weird. Okay, well, if we're not going to have the Twitter working, which is super unfortunate because we had a lot of people viewing from there before. Let's see if I can pink. Yeah, yo. Let's see if I turn this on and off, if Twitter will turn on. It did not like that. Okay, yeah, we're gonna do some Houdini stuff. I was gonna show you guys a quick little test render I did. What I did is over the weekend I was testing out some processes using Houdini, Blender, fracturing stuff in Houdini, bringing it back into Blender and doing a quick render. So let me start this preview. Yeah, I did see that Blender add-on with the that you sent me. That was pretty cool. So this is just caching, but so I did this quick a quick test, and the goal was, it's not, you know, you can see there's some issues, but the goal was I wanted to take a mega scan and I bring it into Houdini, close the holes in it, fracture it, just using normal fracture stuff, and then bake it out and bring it over. So this cache was 6 gigs, and I was trying to see if I could get it smaller. And it adds every reason I use Houdini. Yeah, this is pretty quick. And then there's some problems. Some of these assets, their highlights you'll see on those little trees, is from Geoscatter. Those, I don't know, they need to add some roughness on those leaves because they were super pingy. Like there's lots of little fireflies, and I can take that out in post. But yeah, so I did this quick test, and the camera shake is from Ian Hubert's wonderful camera shake thing. I use it all the time. The raw render looked like this, which still looks pretty good. But you know, I added a bunch of stuff. Let me do a little contact layer sheet. Let's see if this will, so you can see all my passes. So we had some volumetrics, we had some diffuse, ambient occlusion, crypto mats, all those, depth, diffuse color, which is actually really cool because you can use that to do some fun stuff. And then see some gloss, some other ambient light, mist, and normal, or position pass. Anyway, I was doing some quick tests on that, but we'll jump into Houdini. I want to, gosh, I got to see if I can get Twitter to work. That is so annoying that it's not working. It literally worked yesterday. Or not yesterday, last week, no problem. And all of a sudden now it's like not working. Don't know why. Okay. So if Twitter's not going to join us, that's fine. We're just going to do some quick Houdini stuff. Okay. Let's jump into Houdini. Okay, here we go. Let's close this down. I can save it. And let's do some MPMs. Let me turn my mic because I know that's been a problem. So I learned some cool things, and basically the goal is we're going to make a cube be rubber, and then we're going to deform the geo with the points. That's the goal. So let's just start with a cube. We're going to go in here, and I'm going to give it, we're going to need subdivisions because when it deforms, it's going to need to have some of that. And then we're just going to open this up like this because I don't need to look at anything yet. You need the MPM source. We need the MPM container. We need the MPM solver. Plug that in there. Plug this in here. And let's go out of this view so we can see that, yes, the MPM source gave us the right thing. Oh, we got to plug this into here. And we also want to move this. Let's move this up. And on your container, we can see, I can adjust this container so it's not having to go below the ground. And you can either put a ground plane or you can have it be closed. So what I'm going to do, I mean, right now, if we just hit play, this is, I think, the chunky snow one, so it's just going to fall and turn straight into snow. It's not doing anything crazy. I think that's the one that's on. So you can come in here and we can say, turn this into rubber. Oh, and I think the bottom of the container, there it goes. Boom. You want to make sure that the container, the domain on the negative is, I believe, closed. So that can bounce like that. So when you have something like this is also really good. Also found 2 free standalone, free generate. Oh yeah, thank you for sending me those links. So if we wanted this, using the MPM solver, and we wanted this to be like, we didn't want it to be points, we want it to be a geometry. It's a little trick. And we can use a point deform. And then it's going to ask for these different things. So it's going to say, hey, I need the mesh So we know what the mesh is, right? We'll plug that in. And then it says, I need the rest points. So where is it going to rest? Now, here you add in a retime off of the points, and we're going to say, hey, we want this to be by frame, and we're going to go to frame 1, and we're going to say no animation on this. Come on now. So we're going to turn off the animation, and we're going to say, hey, stay at frame 1. These points at frame 1 should not be moving. And we can see if I'm not on the solver that good, those don't move. And we're going to assign this and say this is the rest position. So we're saying that is where it stays. So you plug that into the rest, and then you plug this into the deform points at the very end. And if we did this correctly, what we should see is a deformed cube. It's pretty bouncy. So, I mean, from there you can start playing with, like, you know, whatever you want as far as the properties. So we could, let's see if we turn the stiffness up, what that would do. And I think what I'm going to do, just to make this a little bit more interesting, we're going to rotate it, and I'm also going to add a bevel. So the edges aren't. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I just added a little bevel on the edges, and you can add subdivisions if you want. So now it's going to have a little bit more that's too many. What's up? Thanks for joining the live stream. So now we have this cube. Right now it has a lot of subdivisions. Now it's getting all crazy. See, but that's... It's a stiff, bouncy little cube. And you can look within here. This is what our points are doing. And we could watch this a little bit faster, you know, just by previewing it this way. Now we can see it normal speed. So what I wanted to do next is use the new Wrinkle Deformer. And this is going to say, hey, tell me the deformed geometry and give me the rest position. So we need to come in here and we need to say that is the rest. This is the deformed one. And let's take a look and see if I go down to the spot where it hits, what we should be getting compared to that. Wait, let's see. This compared to this. Now we're getting some wrinkles. Look at that. So we're able to get some wrinkles. This was with no simulation as far as like the wrinkles are going. Looks like you could play with density or whatever you'd like. But instead of running some type of cloth sim or anything like that to get these wrinkles, we're getting this all for free. And I think we can do a, what is it, post, let's see, vellum post process. I'm wondering if we could use this one to make it look nicer, a vellum. Let's see if it'll, because I know this has some nice smoothing. Yep. So the vellum's post smoother is great. You don't need to put in the constraints or anything. Wrinkle scale. Let me turn off so you guys can see that. So yeah, we went from something that was like this to that with the post solver. You can see it just when it hits, it's going to make another nice, right there, those little teeny there it is. Come on, go to the right frame. That. Before, after. Pretty cool. And we could play with, come in here and play with some of these settings. Whoa. Oh, there we go. Now we kind of turn, I didn't even know we could do that. Now it looks like a little pillow. MPMs are making simulations faster. So here's what's interesting, and I'll show you guys this after. I'm super impressed with jello, water, mud, sand. I'm not trying to do a little pillow. That's funny. But I don't even think it's wrinkling. I'm curious if I lower the, sorry, 1 second, subdivisions. Let's go back up to the top. Uh-oh. This has been happening to me where it totally freezes the screen. What's up, Daniel? The screen totally got frozen. I don't even know how that, oh wait, no. My camera is like, what on earth just happened? And anytime, here's what else was weird. I couldn't even like zoom into this. It's like zooming into the center of this cube. And it's not reloading the Geo. Look at that. It's doing, it's like a weird like screen refreshing problem, which is not cool. Because this was working great just 2 seconds ago until I tried to mess with the let's see, 10 by 10 by 10. There it goes. That was so weird. Okay, I just wanted to lower this. So, okay, Daniel, since you're just joining, I'll show you what you did. We just did the MPM rubber solver. Oh yeah, Daniel, I'm gonna work on the business plan thing. I need to make an actual video. Like that one's not gonna be a live stream. That one's gonna be like me sitting down, like scripting something out because I actually want it to be valuable. So once we have that little bouncy guy is going to show, now we have it as deformed geo, wrinkle deformer, but we played with the rest length scale and that did some interesting stuff. Let's see. We lost a little bit of excuse me. Woo. I'm wondering because I lowered the subdivisions if that kind of messed things up. I'm gonna hire him now up to 30. The playback might be a little bit slower. I mess with certain settings in it on the Wrinkle Deformer. And I don't know which ones which setting it was. No. Whoa. When in doubt, put a new one back. Hey, where'd it go? Oh, whoops, I wired those up wrong. There it is. There's my wrinkles. Second average. Oh, Daniel, you're too nice. Business talk. How can I go from average to great? I'm not. I don't think I'm great or anything, but I think the best thing you can be, is be valuable. Like, make yourself like whatever you're doing, even if it's not VFX. It's like make yourself such a valuable asset that that without you, like whatever you're working for, they're like, crap. You have to just make yourself really valuable. That's just what I think. That's been really helpful. Like when I've worked at companies and they were like, hey, like when I was at the company The Void, and they're like, we did this big commercial thing with ILM. It was for a Star Wars experience, and they wanted to do this ambitious trailer, but Disney didn't want to pay. Like they didn't want to put up money to help us make it. We were partners on this thing. So I ended up doing it. Like we went to ILM, we did mocap, we did a bunch of stuff. They gave me some assets, and I ended up like basically making the whole trailer by myself. Like I did all the lighting, the rendering, I did so much stuff solo. And it was a good lesson. It was a super good lesson because I was just like, after that, they were like, oh, we can just have Aaron do all of this stuff. And so I ended up doing a ton of stuff. It was nice because I had guys at ILM that I could message and be like, hey, I got a question. How do I do this? And they would guide me. And so I had some people that could help, like as far as like mentoring, and just give me some advice. But yeah, overall, it was like I was able to save the company a ton of money by being a pretty good generalist. And I think I think it's good to be a generalist, like where you're like generally you know how to light and render, generally you know how to do some compositing and nuke, and then be like really good at one thing. So I feel like I'm pretty good at lighting and rendering. I think that's my stronger thing, lighting, rendering, comp. And then I can do Houdini stuff decently, but like not on, like I wouldn't ever be like I'm a Houdini artist, because Houdini artists are like absolutely insane. So yeah, I think it's being really valuable, creating make yourself just have a lot of value, and you bring a lot to a table. You understand a lot of stuff. You even can communicate, and then you can deliver. Yeah, so lots of value, super good at like one thing, and usually it's good to be really good at something that just making stuff pretty. So that's where it's like you come in with that like, hey, I'm gonna make something that's look like this. Like I'm gonna make $1,000 budget look like $100,000. If you can do that, I think then you're in a good place. Like then your people will see the value. I'm going to talk all about this, I think, in the business thing. I'm going to make a whole thing about like value, like how do you value yourself? Like what happens when you have higher value? Like you can get job offers that can pay you a lot more. Like if you did a freelance job for a company and you're like, hey, I charged X amount of dollars, like it was a pretty big project. And then they're like, we want to hire you. This has happened. And then you say, well, if my job was this much, if I charged X amount of dollars for this one project, my salary should be X. You know what I mean? And I can go way more into detail about that stuff, but it's helped me. And I've been able to, I feel like each job do this. And one time I had a company, when I was at a company called Purple, they do mattresses. They had an ambitious commercial idea, and it was a lot of CG and compositing. And I said, go get a bid from a studio and see how much they'll charge you. I'm like, from a major studio. And they did one commercial that I think was $500,000. So $500,000. And then, so when I came in, I said, I can do that. Here's my portfolio. I can do most of that stuff. And if we need to hire someone for these other things, you know, you pay me like for 1 year's salary, this much. And then they go, oh yeah, okay, this makes a lot more financial sense. So again, it was like, you can show them where the value is. You know, I've had companies be like, how much do you bid on if you did this one commercial? And I'm like, and then you break down each of those things. You're like, animation, 30,000, compositing, 20,000, rigging, 5,000. And you start doing that, and then they look at it and they go, oh shoot. You know what I mean? Then they suddenly are like, oh, this is expensive. And you're like, yes, it is expensive. And there's a lot of people that can work on it. And then they're like, well, what would you be doing? And I'm like, this. And they suddenly realized, oh yeah, there's a lot of value in having someone in-house. So that's what I'm like, you could either be an in-house guy at a company and get paid over $100,000 at a company as a VFX generalist, 100% you could. Or you could be a freelancer and take multiple projects, and you could, as long as you can handle the load and delegate and manage, because a lot of it you will be managing. Like when you're a freelancer, you can only take so much. So if you just want to do everything yourself as a freelance artist, have 2 really good clients that pay you monthly. That's just what I like. Or you do a big project, like 2 big projects a year. If you could do 2 huge projects a year that covers, like, you're like, okay, let's say you need to make, I'm already jumping in this. If you needed to make, we're just going to use the 100,000 a year. If you need to make 100,000, you need 2 projects in a year that each pay 50K a year, right? Or you can be like, I can do this many. I would much rather say take less projects so you can focus. And yeah, or if you're going to take on a lot of projects, that's where you're going to be doing a lot of like delegating and management, because there's only so much you can do as one person. Yeah, this is all good stuff. I really like talking about this stuff, and I feel like a lot of artists, and I think I need to map it out and create something that's going to help, because unfortunately, a lot of us artists are not really good at the business side of stuff. I was going to show you guys the Metal Deformer. I have problems with the metal thing. So if I don't have the point separations up, wait, I want to see what Edward, you said, hey, I'm new to your channel. Nice to meet you. I have a question about new MPM. How must we convert back to a geo using concrete? So the concrete one, I think I don't quite know. You can do video on something like it's usually. Edward, what I was showing was, if you want to do like Jello or anything like that, I'll open this up and show you. So after MPM solver, you can do a points deform, and it needs the 3 things. It needs geo, it needs a rest state, and it needs deforming points. So your deforming points are your animated points. Your rest, you need to create a retime, and you freeze it at the first frame so it holds still. Then you say, hey, that's a rest. It creates a rest attribute. And when it goes into the point deform, what you'll see, and I'm going to go back to, because I'm going to change this back to rubber, because the metal one's going to take too long. Or we could do Jello, and I'll show you guys what happens with Jello. So watch this. It falls. It bounces. This is our Jello. And because we have our points down here and I plug this in, now look, our geo is in there. Thanks for joining the live stream, by the way. So look, now we have deforming geo. When it comes to concrete and things breaking, I still need to figure that part out because that part's a little confusing, how I would assign geo to different things. And then what I was showing, the other thing I like to show was the Wrinkle Deformer. And look at that. Now that we have that Wrinkle Deformer in there, and then a vellum post processing, look at that beautiful thing. That thing looks amazing. That looks so good. Wrinkle Deformer. Let me make sure I don't have a meeting coming up. Okay. Let me do a quick flipbook. Cache. You come in here, by the way, and turn this resolution thing off so it doesn't get all stretched. It's going to do exactly what your viewer's saying. Anyway, back while this is playing, we were still talking about business stuff a little bit, but this will be like flesh or cheese. This is a jello deformer, but yeah, that's a cool thing with this Wrinkle Deformer is you can use it like if you have an animated character and they're like bending their arms and moving, and you find the rest state, which is, you know, a T-pose, and then you can add basically because of the deforming of the geo, like it moving, you could add in wrinkles onto skin. Yeah, I mean, this is no cloth sim stuff. That's cool. That's pretty cool. But we can do this. So fast. I'm curious too. So if this, if you have multiple, I'm seeing the outputs. Let me see the names of things, because will it name the different outputs for the different objects? So if I have multiple like sims going on, I don't know. The ILM, that one it's a Star Wars VR commercial thing. I can share it later, but yeah, it was fun. It was for a VR thing, so it wasn't like I'm using like Unreal Engine assets back in 2000. What year was that? 2017? 2018? Yeah. So I was going to show you guys here's the weird thing with the Metal Deformer. So if I come in here, and I'm curious if any of you guys have this problem. Metal Deformer, for some reason, takes an eternity to sim. Like, look, I don't know why it takes so long to sim metal stuff. I keep wanting it to work, and so I'm like, maybe it's just, we're going to cache it out so that I don't have to keep redoing this. We're just going to do 90 frames. I'm going to do a file cache. And I need to make sure this is saved somewhere. Let's just go Houdini live MPMs. It's good to set your project up. An error occurred. Oh gosh. Did it save? Yeah, it looks like it did. So let me just call this npm and save to disk. So it'll create a folder with geos in it. I was gonna see while that's caching. I'm like, where could I show you my? I know, we're gonna go to, it's on my ArtStation Vimeo. You guys can ask some questions too while I'm pulling this up. Yeah, I don't have that up on my trailer. Oh, I know where you can see it. If you go to YouTube and you go to The Void. I was there for 4 years. The Void is really cool. we're able to do lots of cool things. But it's interesting because, wow, the void doesn't even show up like on YouTube anymore. We used to be huge. We had a place downtown Disney, and yeah, if you go here to the void, yeah, we got to work on lots of cool things. I shot a lot of these, like these commercial things. I didn't get to shoot Dwayne Johnson. That was unfortunate. But I worked on this whole commercial, editing it, VFX, keying. I did interviews on the street with people in downtown Disney. The Jumanji trailer. This was fun. So then here's the Star Wars one, Wreck-It Ralph. This one I did the voiceover for too, which is fun. And then here's the other Star Wars one that we did. So, in Ghostbusters, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Lots of crazy things happening. For me. Oh, nice, Daniel. Yeah, you're doing great then. Yeah. 4 figures. 4 figures. What is that? 6 figures is. Oh, yeah, no. Sorry, my brain wasn't working there for a second. Daniel, yeah, you could be making way more. You absolutely could be making way more money. And I think that's again, a lot a lot of artists just aren't, unfortunately. You're doing great. Daniel, you can make more. Send me your portfolio on Instagram. I'll see if I can throw you some more work and be like, charge this amount. The goal should be charged, I think. If your portfolio, like, again, it depends on your portfolio. If you're like a junior beginning, yeah, it's going to be harder to charge more. But if you're a little bit senior, then yeah, you can charge $1,000 a day. Okay, let's see what this Metal Deformer looked like. It didn't even bend. It didn't bend. See, and this is where we would plug this into the time, and then plug this into here. And then we should get our cube. But it didn't deform because it could be some of these attributes, the density, stiffness. I'm going to turn it down to 2. We're going to recache that. This is the one hard thing about live streaming, doing what's up? I go by Zach. It's hard to live stream Houdini stuff when sometimes it takes so long to sim. But wait, look, I turned the stiffness down and now it's going way faster. Did we solve the problem? Oh wait, and I gotta switch myself over here. Sorry about that. I'm covering a bunch of stuff. But yeah, while these are caching, I'm just gonna keep talking business stuff as for artists. So again, I think you need to list like what are your strengths, what are you really good at, and then understand and then figure out what you would charge if you were having multiple people work on those things. That's going to be the first. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. We got a dent. Sorry, guys. Got excited. Hey. We got some metal deforming. And if I turn this Wrinkle Deformer and then do a post solve, now look, we're going to get wrinkles like if this was a car and it bent metal. Not bad. Okay. That went way faster than I was expecting. So if I came up here and I turn the stiffness down to 1 and the density down to 3,000, how much faster? Let's save that to disk. So now this is actually caching way faster than I was expecting. Let's see if we can do a more complicated object if it does the same thing. I was trying this morning before we jumped on and I was not successful. Daniel, yeah, I'm going to create a chart. I really have to just like take all of my experience and all of what I've learned and just put it down. But I've been able to, as an artist, each time do this. And my dad taught me something. If you are applying at a job, you have one shot to ask for as much as you can. And the worst thing they can say is no. So I'm always like, if you can ask for more, then do it. Like, and if they say no, they say no. And then you negotiate, and then at least like you shot for a certain number and they're like, yeah, we can't do that. And you say, okay, then what were you guys thinking? And then, you got to play that game. But man, artists, we just are not good at that. Like, you have to make sure that you do that. Okay, we're going to swap out this cube for, let's try the squid. And we're going to add a transform on him. Let me grab my pencil. And we're going to move him up here. And we're going to turn him like this, because I'm going to see if we can bend his little squidulons. That's what they're called, guys. And we're going to plug that in there. So now our squid is looking squiddy. And then I'm going to come in here, and I'm just going to see, well, let's see if we can drop him a little bit higher. So he's supposedly going to be made of metal. And let's see what happens when we drop the squid on his face. Okay, I don't know what I changed, but we see some particles breaking off, which that might create an issue. Okay, that was a pretty fast cache. Oh, and he busted his arms off, but that's going to create an issue. Let me do this. I'm going to unplug this and unplug that. And I want to see what the heck. Oh, whoops. It's because I don't have this plugged into the right thing. Oh. Nope. Nope. Okay. So there was that one problem with some extra particles that started like falling, and so it stretched it out. So I'd have to figure that out. So we got to turn up. So there's some properties that I feel like mess this up. So we have to figure out how to not have those particles falling off. I'm going to turn up the stiffness too. I'm going to, sometimes lowering this will actually make it so that particles don't do that weird breaking off thing. So that just slowed everything down quite a bit. Let's see what happens. Maybe I should cache this out though, because it's not doing the little particles breaking off, which is great. So I'm going to plug this into the cache. And we're going to cache this out again. Let this thing run. Let's test the new RenderMan denoiser in Karma. Type labs RenderMan AOV for denoiser. I haven't played with RenderMan in Karma. I'm actually not super good at Karma yet. Yeah, I got to figure out some stuff in Karma. Maybe I should do a live stream on that and learn, because I'm still trying to learn it. This is going to look up side effects. What's new? Because I wanted to see. The other thing we need to play with is I haven't played with the character stuff yet. So look dev. Solaris, thumbs up or thumbs down? Is it good? I don't really know too much about it. But let's look at Karma. I watched a video where they talked about a guy did Karma versus Redshift, and Redshift unfortunately beat it. It was faster and it looked better, which I was like, dang it. Because, I mean, I would love if Houdini's Karma became like way faster and better than other render engines, but I've been super impressed with Cycles again. Sorry, Blender. Everyone's going to get mad at me. I have so many people be like, why are you using Blender? I'm like, it's great. Why are you not? Like, I was going to pull up. I showed you guys some of the, I may have to show you later, but basically, yeah. I've been building my Blender so that I have assets. So when I open something in like Megascans, if I bring something in Megascans, I try to open it first in a Megascans project file, set it up, and then save it as an asset so that I don't have to rebuild it every time. Oh, you made a joke before, but I think you missed it. Wait, what'd you say? I can't see the emojis you're doing. I saw blue smiling face, green smiling face, green smiling face. What was the joke? I definitely missed it. This is almost done. And then we'll look at it. As far as fracturing stuff, does anyone know how to assign? Because I don't know how to do like connect this geo, because it's not a point. It's like not a point deformer. Yeah, I don't know what it would be. I think, I don't know what that would be. The other thing I was doing that was kind of cool is, and I'll show you in a second, is the attribute maps. Bring those in. Okay, let's look at this. No, what the heck happened? Let's see if it worked. Oh, cool. It totally worked. His arm gets all... Oh, that's rad. I like how it's like... attribute noise, set scale, and the stiffness properties. Yeah, you should have asked for... I should ask more. Yeah. King. So you were saying up in the stiffness? Attribute noise, set scaling in the stiffness properties. I don't know what you're talking about that. I could have turned up the friction, ground plane. That's the ground plane stuff. Advanced. So now we could take this sucker. This is what I would, now I want to look at it through, whoops. The Wrinkle Deformer on top of this. Let's see if we can, before, after, post, vellum post solver. I can come in here, wait, let me see. Okay, I gotta zoom in. See, this is nice because it's, you can add some extra details in there. Let's do a quick preview of this. And then I'm going to export this sucker out really quick as maybe we could do a limbic. Oh, shoot. There it goes. And bring it into Blender. That's right. Everyone's like, Blender, why are you going to render Blender? I'll show you. It's so quick. And I have assets built up. That's the other thing. It's just like when you have a bunch of tools built. I mean, that was actually super fast. That Metal Deformer actually was way faster. I don't know. I was having so many issues before. I think it was my stiffness was way too high. But I tried doing it and it was like taking like a minute a frame and it kept doing a bunch of weird crap. That looks pretty good. Wow. That is impressive. Then what we could do, let me save this. I know we could have mixed multiple MPMs in here, right? I could have had the other one mixing with like water up at the top, but because I wanted those points to become a geometry, then you could come down here and you could keep going down the chain and we could do another MPM source. Oop, come on now. I don't know why I added it right here. Okay. And we would do, let me just open this up so you guys can see. I'm going to create like a water area. So then we could add like, let's just do a cube. I'm just going to plug this in for now. And then this is going to be MPM collider object. Plug that one in. That's going to be our collider. And then we're going to do an MPM. I'm wondering if I could plug right into this one probably, but I'm just going to copy it down here. So it's the same size. So I have to reset that up. And then do another MPM solver. Plug the container in. Plug our colliders in. Plug our source in. In the source, let's have this be not snow. We're gonna let's do water. Let's get out of this view. Let's make this thing a little bit bigger. If it goes outside of this, we're okay. Oh boy, yeah, we might have to do particle separation. Well, should we just try this and see what happens? And then if we look at, it turns our geo into a, make it go boom. What up, Connor? It turns that into like a VDB so that it's better for collisions. So now, if this goes too slow, I'm going to just turn down the particle separation because it might not like this. Yeah, I'm going to turn that just for live stream's sake. Escape. We're going to come up here and change the particle separation because that's, I think, slowing it down quite a bit. We're going to turn this up to like 4. Just so that we can see this thing go much quicker. Maybe even 5. Now let's hit play. Oh, and see how it's all rushing out? I think what I need to do is also just do all, we're just going to close the entire thing so that it stays within this container and it doesn't. Oh, and whoops, if you're like, why isn't this moving? Because in our MPM collider, we got to change it to animated right there. How to become valuable? I mean, they don't even reply back. Oh no. I think valuable, yeah, it's a good, it's, I guess, yeah, so you have to say, how do I, like, how am I, like, how do I create value for a company? Like, how do you make it so it's like, they value you as an asset. They're like, this person, this Daniel is just, we cannot live without him. We need him on our team. And I think it's figuring out what that, you know, and I could go into that stuff a little bit more another time. I'm going to turn this container, bring this container down. Come on now. I'm also going to, I think, add a little bit more points. I think we went too hard. And I think, hold on, seeing the different sizes, we got to bring this. Come on now. Come on. I think it's because I'm looking. There. Let's bring this. So let's bring that up. I got to bring this bottom of the cube up. Whoa, too high. I'm going to turn the sim stuff off and see if I can look through here, but then come in here. Or come to here. So that we're not, so our initial points aren't way far out of our bounding box. Let's bring it all back. And then we're going to lower the height. Looking at the time, I'm like, might have to be done soon, but hopefully we can check this out before we go. So now the fluids are going to stay within the closed bounds. You'll see it kind of splash. And if I wanted this to be bigger, like look larger, you can play with the time scale in this, in the solver right here, that time scale. That's a great way to create mass really quick. It's just play with that time scale. And if you go down to like 0.5, it'll move much slower. Sometimes if I'm doing like a huge, massive thing, like busting out of the ground, like then I'm going to do like with fracturing, that's when I would change the time scale down, because then it's like super slow moving. Okay. You can see now the squid is in fact interacting with the ground. I'm not liking that this is going to take super long, because time is money. Just joking. I'm being stupid. Okay, let me cache this out. I'm going to switch. I'm going to see really quick if it is faster, because some things move quicker. Like some simulation stuff I've noticed is much faster. Let's see how fast mud. Slower or faster? Yeah, it's about the same. So let's just go back to water and let's do another file, cache, water. We're going to let this sim really quick. Save to disk. Time is money. No, in my case, I get a lot of time. Daniel, like I said, send me your Instagram, your portfolio. And I'm going to check my Instagram right now. Sweet. I've had a bunch of people message me enjoying that form I set up. But yeah, send me your guys' portfolio if you want to work together. I have a Google form on my link tree. You can fill out, and if you need work, and if I can't take it, what I like to do is I will manage it and I can send it to you. And so you don't have to deal with clients. So sometimes I'll charge just like a management fee. And if you do the same thing, if you're really busy and you hire other artists, do the same thing. Also, I was going to say with business sides of things, as far as like being smart and making sure you don't die, is your process in 3D land matters as well. Getting approvals, like where you're getting approvals and when part of the process is huge in saving you money. Like when I was younger and I didn't understand some of the stuff, what I would do is I'd deliver a final video. I'd just be like, here's the video. And they're like, and the client never got to see it. They never got to give any feedback. And I just would send them something. And then they were not very happy because they were like, this is the first time we're seeing it. And we have all these notes. We don't like the timing. We don't like, and I'm like, oh man. And so then I felt like I thought I was done with a project, and they still had notes they wanted to give. And so something I learned is when to get approvals and how to get approvals quicker. So a couple of tips is if you have a client that loves to just give notes, give 2 variations of something so they can pick between 2 things. Don't just send one. So even if it's like a simulation, right? And let's go to animation. That's just easier. Do 2 variations of the animation, but don't kill yourself over them, but just 2. So that they felt like they give you notes. Like, which one do you like, this one or this one? If you send them one, they're just going to like iterate, like they'll just give like a million notes, because there's a lot of project managers at companies that feel like their job is to give notes. And so if you give them 2 options, they'll be like, that way they're doing their job. They're picking something. So they're giving their notes and their input. And they may be like, do this one, but could you do this? And you're like, okay. And so that's going to save you a ton of like headache as well. Yeah, if you can do variations, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just can't. So if you can give variations, do. But then the other thing is, then you get, like, as far as approval process, I get approvals throughout. Like, so let's say we have an animated, this was something I did. It was an animated chameleon. And what we ended up doing is we would have, sorry, I just got a message. I got to make sure it's not. What we do is you get approval on, let's say, the look. Like, you have some concept boards and they're like, we like this color, this, great. And sometimes AI is great for that stuff. Like proof, like where you're like, I need a chameleon with red scales, and then you're like, here's some different versions, and they're like, oh, we like that one. You're like, okay, now we can agree on kind of a look. Then you go start making the look. You model a chameleon, you send a chameleon. Do you guys like the chameleon? Looks good? Great. Next, look dev. You do a couple like little variations. Look dev, you give them like 3 images, like really quick. Here's what he's gonna look like. Which one do you like? They're like, this one. Good. So you're like having these checkpoints, and you're kind of checking off things so that you're not going to the end. You send them the video. They're like, we don't like the look of him. We don't like the model. We don't like, and then you're frustrated as an artist because you're like, I just spent so much time working on this thing to have you guys be like, it's not what you want. Like, what the crap? Like, I spent forever on this. Like, and then you're frustrated. The client's frustrated, and everyone loses in that situation. Where if you can get, so we're going to merge these together to see what it looks like. If you can quickly get, a client to agree on stuff and have checkpoints with them, then they know what it's going to look like. And I usually say after animation, I'm like, you can't really go back on certain things. Like I let them know. I'm like, we've hit a point, like once we approve animation, we're not going back and swapping out models. We can change little texture things, but I'm like, yeah, like once it hits this point, we can't go back because this affects the simulation. Like if you're doing like simulation with like an animation, once the animation is locked, that affects all the sim stuff. And so, yeah. So you want to make sure that you're just getting these checkpoints with the client and that they're happy with each part of your process. And they're paying you, so they should be allowed to give input. But there are some clients that overdo their input where it's like, okay, this is getting insane. You know what I mean? And they just will give millions and millions of notes. And so you have to also be like, if you have a contract, somebody like, hey, happy to do all this stuff. I want this. And, you always want to kind of give them that comfort and be like, hey, I want this to be one of the best things, best experiences, amazing thing. But then you also have to say, we'll deliver and we'll do this many rounds of notes. But after that, we have to charge our like day rate because, this isn't an infinite revision process. Guys, this looks pretty sweet. So we just did a metal deformed squid and some fluid sims. Now let's see if we could come off this and do, what is it? Fluid surface. Let's see. I don't want to break my computer, but I also want this to look better. I'm scared. I always get scared when I start playing with like remeshing because there's been so many times where I'm like, keep going higher resolution, and then it starts crying and freaking out. So if I did this together, you do actually I think there's a color attribute in this one. Do some filtering. Let's see if this hurts it. It's looking pretty good. Hey, checking out today the follow path RBD car. Oh no, I am not doing the car. Not today. We did a wrinkly cube. We've done this metal squid. I'll show you the metal squid. It basically is a car. So yeah, that's how you deform metal. And then we did a water sim with it. I'm curious about your, yeah, my business video. I need to make it. I think it could be really helpful for a lot of artists. I did a poll. I actually did a poll with, and I sent that out, and a lot of the comments, like, I was like, what do you need help with? I'm not going to be able to send this fluid out, guys, because it's going to, I think while I'm live streaming, it's just going to break my computer. So I'll have to mesh this and render it out. I have a little bit more time. With this, a little bit of time, I was going to show you guys, this is usually what I end up doing is I do an output. Sorry, ADHD. Metal squid. And in this, I think, yeah, the form geometry. Cool. We're going to do frame range. Save the disk. I did a poll asking people if they had anything that they could change, like as far as their situation and as far as like, you know, in VFX land, like what would be the thing? And so many people were like, make more money, have more time, make more money, have more time. And I think that a video that I'm discussing, I think could be a help to that. So I want to open this in Blender really quick and show you guys some stuff that I'm going to import this and then show you some cool stuff. But yeah, so I think a lot of artists, they need help with business stuff. They need help with figuring things out. And I would love to be able to help them because it's hard and I don't always get it right. There's lots of things that I've gotten wrong and I've been like learned and made mistakes and it happens, but there's definitely some things you can do to help your situation. Okay, we're going to import this Alembic and it is in our D Houdini live metal squid. And look at this. There he is. So a couple are really cool. Let me move my face to the other side. Some cool things that I really like in Blender. And again, if you're a Houdini artist and you're like, why are you doing this in here? Let me just show you some cool things before you start judging. So I'm rendering right now. I hit the render button and this isn't Eevee. This is me using cycles. And I've set my scene up so that I have this, let me make my screen a little bit bigger as well. Bring that down here. We're going to slide things over. So one of the things I really like is the speed. Like this is rendering, you know, like I always have to explain. I'm like, this is a live cycles render. Now, granted, there's just a, like a baked Alembic, but still the speed, amazing. And what I've done is I have so many cool assets that I've built up over time and these like add-ons that just make my life so much easier. So if I want this thing to look metal and I don't have to rebuild a whole freaking material, there's some amazing add-ons where people have spent a lot of time making them. So this is called the Sanctus library, and I can just click on my object, hit apply material. Wait a sec. Oh, loading kernels. Oh shoot, this has been doing this with my add-ons. Oh no. Wow, now this is embarrassing because that was supposed to be a good example and I may have just broke it. I don't know why. Blender 4.1, I have had issues with this loading render kernels, and it could be because I am out of GPU RAM because I've been live streaming and Houdiniing and all this stuff. Hold please. Yeah, I think I broke it. I'm gonna have to build my own material. I'll show. Let me see if I can do this another way. That was embarrassing. Wait a few days. Blender 4.2 is coming out. I know. I can't wait. Okay, I was gonna show you guys. I have these cool assets as well, but I'm gonna see if the problem was this library because there have been issues with this. See, it did it again just by adding that in there. So I've been having issues with this. I don't know why it's doing that. I've checked on some forums. Okay, we're going to see. Blender is great. It is amazing just because I had a little issue just there. I blame myself. Okay. What I was going to show you is you can build your own asset libraries. So I built one called Megascans, and I started building up a bunch of cool things that I really like in here. So like I wanted a mountain asset. Pretty sweet. And I'm like wanting it to stick to the floor. I have a way of doing that. And I can snap it to the floor, and then I can instance this, and then I can rotate it, and it's pretty fast. And then hit render, and I have these things built up so quick that I can move like 1,000,000 miles per hour, and I feel like I can do what I need to do super quick. Floor texture, I have these materials that I've made. Let me just drag this one on here. Boom, I have a material. Had to go into the edit mode and subdivide it because we have some displacement. Done. Let me zoom in. I'm not going to use the Sanctus library because for some reason it is not doing what I want. But I'm going to be building a bunch of materials. Let me come in here, and then it looks like it brought over all of those material attributes. If you can see right here, let me slide this sucker over because I don't need it. His mouth, his eyes, his skin. So I could say use nodes on the skin. And let's make him metal because he is a metal squib. Yeah, hide all this fun stuff. But this is it rendering. That's what I was trying to show you guys. Like, this is it rendering live. And this is, yeah, it's doing a really, really fast and great job. You could come in here and I could do a, I use this other plugin, Fluent ones. Add this in here, and we could plug this into a roughness. Now you can see we're getting some roughness on him. And then if you wanted to add volumetrics, let me show you how fast this is. I'm doing this because I think I get people being like, why are you using? And I'll show you. Volume. And I'm going to have to jump off soon. That's why I'm just doing this super quick. Plug this volume into there. 0.04. Boom, we have volumetrics. You're scared. Still don't think that's cool enough? Then we're going to come in here and turn on depth of field. Select. Oops, not our cube. Let's come in here. Shouldn't be doing our box. Should be doing. Let me turn that off for a second. Oh gosh. There we go. So now little Squibby is he's looking pretty good. We could add the specular, come down here. Look at that. My ground plane looks like it needs to move down a little bit because I think the displacement kind of messed it up. I just love how quick all this is. Could add on our ground plane, come in here. And then I like to apply it after only because I've had a problem if you don't apply your subdivisions, it actually can create a huge problem when you hit render. It's better to apply some of those deformers if you can. Boom, now we have this metal squid hitting the ground. Let's go back to our render view and we gotta hide our cube. I'm going to show you another really quick tip with your camera. I'm going to come in here, 24 mil. So we want to animate this. So what you do, let's say we're looking up, the camera selected, I hit S for me, and then it's going to fall. I'm going to follow him down. Make sure the camera's like S. So now our camera follows him. Boom. And then maybe we're going to have like whoever's filming this is like right there, but then by the end we want them to like back up like they're like, whoa. Okay, we're going to go into this view so we can see it. So, all right, pretty basic animation for the camera. You can come in here and you can get Ian Hubert's wonderful, wonderful camera shake, this camera wobble. Add in this walking, and watch this. It adds super cool looking camera shake, and there's a ton of different versions of it. So you can do, I don't know what Zeke is, but oh, it looks like it's smooth. It's like a little bit smoother. Steady cam. So if you have like, and you can change the influence. Spaceship shake. Handycam. This one's, I think, one of my favorites. It's like, it's pretty intense. Investigating. So this, if you're looking at like, that one's actually not too bad. Let's turn our volumes back on. And then also with the sun, here's another quick tip, and then I got to jump. Set up your HDRIs so that you can come in here and pick a bunch and your preferences. But then I learned this from, oh gosh, a tutorial I watched. Clamp your sun brightness if you want to use your own sun. So if I want to use my own direct sun and control my sun, I clamp the brightness to 1, so then I have control of the sun. And then I use the nodes for the sun, and you plug in a black body. And that's just like a temperature. So if I lowered, oops, I got to reduce one of these zeros. Now we're going to get like this like red hot. Maybe we're on Mars or something. And then let's say that sun's a little too harsh. Change the angle so it's softening those a little bit. I just like how quick this is. I'm able to do this really fast. And then I'd go into my wonderful asset browser of all the assets I have, and let's say I wanted a rock. It's a huge rock. Let's say I wanted some ground detail. Let's see, let me get out of this view. Oh, there it is. It's just under the ground. I could instance it. And again, if I have this snapping on, I got to offset it a little bit because it's snapping to the displaced the place where it's not displaced. But yeah, it's like I feel like I can just stay in my camera view and I can do things really fast and efficient. And I just like the experience being able to move around in here really quickly. The other thing I was going to see if I look at, so one of these assets, oops, whoop. Let's just grab this one. I'm going to instance it. Rotate. So it feels like a different rock. And maybe I'll do another instance. Yeah, we're getting something pretty quick. And this is where I would love to be able to bring in all the Houdini grains if I like had the sand sim stuff. We're on planet Mars with a giant metal squid that we just made. How cool is that? I'm going to show you one more cool thing, and then I got to go. So this cube, if you don't want to see that, I'm going to hide that for a second. The other, one of my favorite things to do is this, guys. I think you'll enjoy this. Is in the scatter. I have this really nice scatter asset library with all of these cool assets. And let's say we want to add these dead bushes. Select them. And if you have this plugin add-on, I'm just going to call it both so that people know what I'm talking about. It's called Geoscatter. And before I do this, I'm going to save this. Ooh, I got to jump off in just a second. So you can come into this, and I'm going to select the plane. I don't want this. I'm going to do a manual scatter, and I want to scatter from my browser. So I have those two selected, so I'm scattering the browser. And then you hit Scatter Assets. It's going to just take a second to open this new window. And you can see I can start painting, just painting away. This reminds me a lot of Clarice, being able to just paint geometry in. So if I want these dead plants places, I could do that. Maybe that's too much, and so I'm like, I didn't like that. Come in here and clear my points. You can change the radius, and if we have too many points in one spot, you can just reduce it and do something that looks a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to hit exit. And let's check it out. And I have tons of like plants and trees. They're super skinny, so you can't see them. That actually was a terrible example. We're going to do these ones. Go back in. The other thing is you can paint from your perspective. So if I wanted to, I have these selected now, and I can do a new scatter assets, and it's going to stay within my camera view. Oops. I go back to this. We're just going to do a ton just so you guys can see what's going on. Hit render. There's our little plants everywhere. Let me turn back on my volumetrics. Yeah, we just added some dead plants everywhere. I can do rocks, so I could scatter rocks everywhere if I wanted. Last thing, and then we'll jump off because I have some work to do. So let me hide my fog again. Let's find quick rock. Yeah, it's super fast. This is, again, like, I'm trying to show people that don't use Blender, like, look, speed and quality. Like, I'm able to do these things like super quick. But I just got to find a good rock. I could take, actually, what we could do. Let's see if we can do this. This will be cool. I'm going to select that rock. I'm going to say viewport selection, scatter, and then come in here. Yep, it worked, but it's massive. Let me get, oh, it's not going to let me get out of my view. That's the one thing is I can't get out of my, well, maybe I can. Oh, there we go. Whoop, nope, it's not liking that. We're just going to scale this down 0.01. I'm going to do 0.1. Yeah, it's still too huge because that asset was 1, 2, 2, 3. There we go. Let's get some rocks. Exit back and, oop. Oh, nope. There we go. Now we can hit render. Oh, and the reason why we're not seeing our rocks is this was a problem. Our displacement map is hiding. It's offsetting everything. There we go. I was wondering what was going on. Like, why can't I see anything? Well, displacement. Make sure this. I'm going to turn our. And I would color these rocks too, like so that, you know, they looked a little bit better. But yeah, you can scatter rocks and scatter these plants everywhere. And we were able to do this. This is rendering pretty fast. Look at that. Boom. Okay. Well, you guys, I got to jump off. Got to get to work. Lots to do. But just want to show you power of using Houdini with Blender, bringing things together. We'll try to do some more Houdini fun stuff. That was fun doing some MPMs. And yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for joining. Follow me on Instagram, vfxcentral, YouTube, subscribe, vfxcentral. And thanks again. And we'll see you possibly tomorrow, right?